the Bloodline storyline in WWE is feeling lukewarm. The Bloodline, for how hot it was going into WrestleMania, they fucked it because all of this stuff, whether Solo's going to turn or what's going to happen with the Usos, all of that would have stakes if we were telling a story that Roman Reigns lost the title.
You're wrong,
and the bloodline. I'll let you have your piece.
Sorry,
and the bloodline is in disarray, and it's causing all this friction, and everyone's blaming each other, and the bloodline is imploding. Instead, Roman Reigns is still champion. He's not on the show. He's disappeared off TV. And Solo Sikoa is having to be like his avatar on these shows the last few weeks. And they're having to peddle a story that is 10 times less interesting because they haven't gone what was the obvious route to anybody with a brain right around WrestleMania.
I'm going to bust in, sorry, because I can't stop even more. You're right. You've got, that's fair enough. If you find it less interesting, that's fair enough. But you're missing the whole point. It's not about Roman losing the belts. It's about the Usos losing the belts, Benno.
And that's not interesting. No one cares.
But they do.
Not on the level that anyone cared going into WrestleMania. And if it is a different story, then
because
why?
It's only starting, isn't it? It's only starting from WrestleMania. You haven't even got to anything yet. I'm telling you, like I told you, Manchester, let these build whatever match they're coming to, and it'll be as, I'm not saying it might be as hot as the Sami Zayn because it was in Montreal, but they will heat whoever they're heating up, what the end game is, and it'll be just as over as what you've seen before.
It absolutely
fair
won't.
enough.
There's no way they can get back to that point. They've spent the last 3 weeks crawling along with this story because there are no stakes, because Roman's still the champion, and we're having to invest in like this stupid stuff with the Usos and Solo that would make so much more sense if they'd gone the other route. Like, they can't even tell an interesting story with it because there isn't an interesting story there to tell without that main factor.
It's the Usos. Sorry, JP. It's the Usos. So Roman is obviously sending the brother to try and fucking get on them because they lost the belts.
And it's been proven by the last 4 weeks of TV, but that isn't an interesting story because this is lukewarm on the semi-main event on this pay-per-view. And
that's
it's a
bloodline story.
If it was anywhere on the show, it would be nowhere near as interesting as what the story was like a month ago, or what the story could be if there were real stakes. Like, I know you're invested. I understand that you're invested. I'm not going to pretend you're not. You are. But I think as a whole, people aren't the level invested they were before. And it's not impossible did they get to a point where there's going to be another crescendo to this story. But and maybe it's early to call it, but I think 3-4 weeks after WrestleMania now, like, yeah, the whole thing has clearly cooled off, and I think it's going to be a massive, not impossible, a massive uphill battle to get to a point where people are going to be as invested again, like to peak this story again.
It relies. But it feels like, I don't know, from me on the outside, I don't like it when I hear Mummy and Daddy having a fight about wrestling.
It's a regular day. We do this all the time.
It's a regular day. If there was paint on the table, we'd be saying the same thing.
My issues with it is, like, I'm not seeing the trying to push. The Solo Sikoa thing is far too quick. They're moving at that with such a pace. And that is the kind of thing where I even wouldn't come close to think about turning him heel for like 2 years. Like, because he needs to be like kind of properly established, and I don't think he's a look is what he is, and he's he fits in with the group and everything else. I've no issue on that front. I just can't. It seems to have taken a turn of, is Solo going to turn? And you're going, well, this isn't even a conversation they should be having, unless it's in the context I would say is if Cody Rhodes won the title, the Usos lost the title, the Bloodline's kind of imploding, trying to hold it together. They're turning on each other on the inside. That's much more of an interesting dynamic for me that I would want them to go down. I mean, the match itself, I would agree with what you guys said. It was effectively like a house show match with some of the story stuff at the end. Riddle was there to take a pin out of all of this, but in terms of the future direction for it, and I think it gets complicated by this other world title, like you mentioned earlier on as well. I think that takes something away from the Roman stuff, but then we didn't have Roman on the card.
That's interesting because Roman's back Friday night, and apparently he is fighting in Saudi in like 3 weeks. I mean, I don't even know what they're going to go with that, unless he inserts himself in that. I've got a feeling he'll insert himself in that tournament, and he'll be in that final. Because I can't see what other match they've got to build in 3 SmackDowns. So I think he's going to end up.
Cody beat Roman for this other world title.
That's I agree with Kiwi there.
And then have a unification match.
I think that's like, you know,
beats him, but he doesn't beat him for the
and then you can build that on against leading to the other match, the rubber match. Then Cody can say, "I don't want this." Well,
still sounds worse than the Plan A, doesn't it?
Before, you know, as I say,
that's points. Like, we shouldn't move off the point too quickly because it is an interesting conversation. Because obviously you're on the other side of this. Do you not agree that this story would be more interesting if Roman had lost the belt and the house was crumbling, like just at its base level?
No, I think no, because this is where I'm conflicted, Ben, and this might sound whatever. I wanted Roman to win because I'm still one of the guys. Yeah, okay, go back. No, I don't know.
But I like Roman Reigns as an announcer, is it? It's no, but
I think it's fine as it is. I think it is.
But is it better?
Well,
come on, you're not a politician. You can like Roman Reigns and still think.
No, but I don't know if it's better because I don't know what story because you're saying they'd all be imploding. But then
tell us the exact story, but they're all blaming each other for
no, because I think if Roman stays strong as that cunt who's still, I'm the best, I'm this fucking whatever, but I got your brother to help me and he didn't help you. So I think that's a great story. He's trying to divide his own fucking. Could we see how many TV shows have you seen them where it's from the inside? The Sons of Anarchy guys. It reminds me of that in a way. It's like they're all a part of this family, but these are real blood. And it's like you've got this one cunt who you know is a cunt really, and he's trying to he's trying to get them all as long as he wins. You know, in shows it's get all the money or get whatever they're after. And he's turning his own family against each other. And I think it will play out that way, Ben. And I love it. I do. I'm not lying, you know. I'm like, I can't. Yeah, it is.
No one can listen to this and be like, oh, Matt, he's a WWE defender. He doesn't mean what he says. You know, you're not fucking with me, Dan girl, you know, in a lot of ways. Like, you know, you're not a fan of pizzas that much, but you know, you know, you have this is your genuine viewpoint. You genuinely enjoy this, don't you? Like, genuinely.
Yeah, 100%. And as I say, Ben, you know, I can't wait to SmackDown to see what they do. You know what I mean? Maybe I can answer you in a couple of months then if you want me politician. I'll answer you come SummerSlam. And if it doesn't turn out, and if I'm wrong and they don't get it back to that crescendo, as you say, obviously, you know, they mightn't get the spectacle of a Cody at WrestleMania and that sounds good because Cody is over and of course he is. If it is Jay or Solo, whoever it ends up being, I think they'll do a good job in getting it to a point where it is a big deal and there is genuine reaction to it. That's what I do think. Genuinely do.
Agree to disagree. But I've got no faith in them at all. Like especially now in like. But
I have been because Roman wouldn't have it, and I know this. He's too hands on in his own shit. He do, you know. I know a lot of wrestlers say it that like they got in control and they want everything that they present out on telly to be good. But I genuinely believe Roman he wouldn't have this.
But if the plan really is, and I don't buy it that it's going to be Solo to beat him, but say that was the plan, all it takes is Vince, like we said on the weekend show, Vince wakes up tomorrow morning, like Solo's short.
And that is shit then, yeah. That's nothing to do with that. That's just Vince being Vince, isn't it? I won't be able to defend that. It's like...
That's why I've got no faith, you know?
Yeah, that's fair play, of course. And that's fair enough. You think it's least interesting. That's your opinion. That's what we're all here for, Ben. That's fucking part and parcel of the beauty of the business, as I say. I love it. Love the debate.
There we go. And yeah, tournaments for points are good. I'm glad you agree with that too. But anyway,
if singing for points is fine, I'm sure wrestling is.
I'll never be swayed on that, JP.